Я обращаюсь к российским военным, к тем, кому повезло выжить в мясных штурмах и разбитых окопах.
That was the head of Ukraine's state intelligence agency, Krylo Budanov, from a video published last year by Ukrainian intelligence directed at Russian military personnel, advising them to surrender and save their lives from the promised upcoming meat grinder Kiev and Washington promised would take place last year. In the video, Budanov says it will get worse, die or save your life, he said.
Будет еще хуже. У вас есть выбор – умереть или спасти свою жизнь.
Although the promised meat grinder never materialized, rumors are now swirling in and around Kiev that Budanov may be part of a threesome at the center of major palace intrigue in Kiev, involving himself, President Volodymyr Zelensky, and General Valery Zalushny, who's the commander-in-chief of Ukraine's military. To sort all of that out, we go to Moscow to speak with analyst Mark Sleboda. Mark?
Hey, Don. Thanks for having me. So, Ukrainian social media is Ukrainian media, not so much, because they're controlled by the Unified Information Policy, which means Zelensky has total control of the Ukrainian media and what they say and don't say. But the social media channels, the Telegram, is still very active, and there is a limited amount of freedom there. And this has spilled over into the Russian media. And the rumors are about the ongoing political feud between Zelensky and Zalushny, and rumors that Zelensky has finally either sacked or is about to sack Zelensky, and who they've selected to replace him. Now, I mean, it's been well established, even in the Western mainstream media. They've admitted the political tensions between Zelensky and Zalushny. They've admitted that Zelensky and Zalushny effectively haven't talked for maybe longer than a half a year, as incredible as that sounds.
The president and his top general.
General. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And Zelensky has evidently been giving orders to military generals and commanders, just going around the top general, just issuing direct orders, which probably means effectively that there is two different commands being issued at any given time, which surely will complicate the situation for the Ukrainian military, for the Kiev regime's military in Ukraine. Part of the tensions is certainly due to the fact that there has been substantial signals that the U.S. is interested in dropping Zelensky, switching horses to Zalushny, essentially because they've lost confidence in him. He's not carrying out their orders. He's not carrying out their battle plans. His increasingly shrill voice is not playing well with either Western political elites or the general public. And however much political capital they've sunk into him, I think that they regret, or they see no choice except to try to switch. This is why it appears to me that the U.S. was trying to push for presidential elections in Ukraine in the midst of a conflict, despite the Ukrainian constitution saying that was illegal. But Zelensky has denied that and seemingly cut off U.S. attempts to back Zalushny in an election. The U.S. doesn't really want to stage a new coup in Ukraine so soon after they staged the last one in 2014. That would be awkward. So it really left them at a tale of ends. And Zelensky, he set a number of political machinations in action to essentially hobble Zalushny, to try to hurt his growing support in the Ukrainian general public and in Western political elites, him and his great cardinal chief of staff Yermak. But now the rumor mill is that he is using the collapse of Ukrainian defenses in southeast Avdiivka, which everyone, Zelensky, Zalushny, everyone has said that it must not fall. But the interesting thing is who the rumors say he is replacing him with, and it is the head of the Kiev regime's military intelligence, the GUR, the genocidal maniac Kirill Budanov.
I'm sorry. Who's going to replace whom? Because you're using a lot of pronouns here.
Yes. Supposedly Budanov is going to replace Zalushny. Zelensky, the president, is going to sack his top general, or has already done so, and replace him with his military intelligence head. The interesting thing about this, of course, is that Budanov, while he has a background in some special forces and covert ops, he has never been a military commander. He has never studied strategy. He is not a general. He has never commanded troops of any scale in the battlefield. So you might say, well, why are they doing? Why would he do this? And presumably it's because Zelensky can't trust any of his generals. He's so paranoid and so afraid of a military coup that he is looking outside all of the generals and bringing someone else in ideological, a real fire-breathing, Russian ethnic-hating Banderite, even more so than Zalushny, evidently, and putting him on top to keep the generals in line.
So this is like putting the SS in charge of the military, basically. And let me just ask you a question about that, because the first thing is that you assume that you're going to get a chain of command running from Zelensky to this new character who is going to turn around and direct the generals to perform this or that act. How reliable is that from the point of view of Zelensky? Why would they listen? Why would they listen to this person any more than they listen to him directly?
That is the million-dollar question. And in fact, I think it may very well incite the military coup that he might be seeking to prevent. I can't imagine that the Ukrainian generals will be happy with having someone not one of their own, and someone whom they presumably don't have any respect for, to be placed above them for political, ideological reasons. And there are a couple of generals that, are generally viewed as close to Zelensky. One of those is Syrskyi, who was seen as a rival to Zalushny and is technically the head of Ukrainian ground forces. It would be very interesting to see the reaction of the Ukrainian military to this development. And it happened at the same time that the Financial Times published a piece praising Budanov, the Ukrainian spy chief who likes the darkness is the title, because he demanded to be interviewed in a dark room.
Boy.
I don't know, is he a vampire? Does he have psychological issues? Does he have injuries? Supposedly he's covered with shrapnel injuries, and his neck and back was broken, possibly in a Russian airstrike last year, although they don't mention that. But they suddenly this piece comes out in the Financial Times about him. It seems like the Western public is being prepared for Budanov replacing Zalushny. So it's a lot of coincidences happening that seem to lend some degree of credence to the current Ukrainian-Russian rumor mill.
Right, so I guess we're going to be tracking that as it goes on. Mark, thank you so much for your time and expertise. As usual, this will definitely be fun to track, so we'll talk about it some more.
Thanks for having me.
For KPFK, I'm Don DeBar.